5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Please do not change channel.
From Krypton Radio, brought to you by Famous Faces and Funnies and Off the Chain with Yvonne Mason. It's the Hangin' with Web Show Radio Hour, the Internet's premier pop culture talk radio show. You're tuned in, you're logged on, and now, your host, award-winning author and journalist G.W. Pomichter. Who are you hanging with?
Hello, World Wide Web, from laptop to mobile, from border to border, from coast to coast, and all the ships at sea. I'm G.W. Pomichter, and this is the Hangin' with Web Show Radio Hour. Hello, World Wide Web. Welcome back to the Hangin' with Web Show. I'm G.W. Pomichter. Thank you so much for logging on, tuning in, hanging out with us a little bit. Hit subscribe. Come back over and over. We got artists, authors, filmmakers, musicians, creative minds of all kinds. We have cosplayers. The cosplayers here are amazing. It's been fantastic. And we're hanging out right now at Comic-Con Revolution with Ming Chen. So, Ming, how are you, man?
I'm doing great. What's up? What's up, everybody?
I don't know, man.
This setup is amazing.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Been behind a camera, in front of a camera. This is
you guys have been working it now for a while. And, I mean, you know, this is a great community because you guys get to geek out and do what you do and do it on camera and just have a good time doing it.
Yeah, I love it. I mean, I've been loving pop culture and comics and, you know, stuff like G.I. Joe and Thundercats and Transformers for years. Back, I'm going to sound really old here, but, you know, back when I was a kid,
So I dyed the gray out of my beard this morning, so they'll never know.
Okay, yeah, you didn't have to admit that, but, you know.
Oh, man, cameras are rolling.
It wasn't that long ago where this stuff wasn't this prevalent. It wasn't even cool, you know.
No,
people, I had kids chasing me around the playground trying to steal my comic books and rip them up, and, you know, I never got beat up, but I heard of kids who, you know, got beat up because they like comic books, and now, you know, now it's taken a complete 180, and all this stuff is great, and you can go to a Comic-Con almost every weekend and be with tens of thousands of other like-minded fans who get you.
They do. This is we found our tribe.
Yes.
All the kids that you used to make sit by ourselves in the lunchroom, we built our bigger lunchroom.
We did.
That's
we
right.
built our own lunchroom on, you know, in the Upside Down in a different universe.
That's right,
and we made it better, man.
Yeah. So, all right. Well, let's talk comic book, man.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. What season are you guys on now?
We got up to season 7. And
season
unfortunately
7,
we
right?
got canceled last year. But 7 seasons. Nothing to sneeze at. I would have loved to see it go like 20 seasons, of course.
Well,
I was having a lot of fun. But we always joke around, like, you know, Star Trek got 3 seasons.
Valid. It's valid.
629 got, I think, 5 seasons. And then the biggest one, Firefly, got 1 season.
So what we have to do is we have to wait like a year, and then we push for Comic Book Men, the movie.
Yes.
Because that's what they usually do.
Yes.
They leap off.
Yes, and then after that, Comic Book Men, the reboot.
The reboot. That's
yes.
right. When you'll find out who plays Ming.
Right.
In the reboot.
Right. And then I pop up as like the mentor character or you know, whatever. But
that'll be great, man.
Yeah.
We've seen you've been touring a lot, doing a lot of Comic-Cons and stuff. You've been talking to a lot of different people.
Yeah.
I mean, you've always liked comics and pop culture stuff. I mean, your whole life.
Yeah.
As it's grown bigger, and you found out that we went from being subculture to pop culture, to mainstream culture now.
To just culture now,
right.
yeah.
So what's been the coolest thing about that transition for you? As a geek yourself, I mean, we're geeks. This is what we do anyway. We were going to be here even if you didn't come.
Yeah, exactly.
So the fact that they're here is kind of cool. So what's
there were a couple of things. Growing up, you know, I had 2 friends out of like a class of 400 in my school who knew who Wolverine was, who knew what vibranium and adamantium was, who knew who Professor X was. So, you know, that was my little tribe back then.
Yeah.
And, you know, I would go and we hung out with each other every day after school, played Nintendo games, watched James Cameron movies, and it was great. But I always longed for more people to talk with about sci-fi and
well, you
play
know,
role-playing games.
we're a tribal kind of a animal.
Yeah.
We form packs.
Yeah, but also as a fanboy, though, as a fan of something, when you find something you love, you want other people to love it too.
Well,
so,
yeah.
And it was tough back then. However, you know, now you can go to a Comic-Con and just, you know, if you mention the Force, like everyone knows what you're talking about. If you
That's
talk
right.
about it's the word flux capacitor.
You remember, like when we were kids, though, and you say you use those pop culture lines.
Yeah.
You say, "May the Force be with you," and your mom would look at you and go, "What the hell are you
Yeah,
talking
what are you
about?"
talking about? Force? Like, no, Force. Like, don't force anything on me. Like, no, the Force.
No, the Force.
The
That's
Force,
right.
Like, you know, it surrounds us and binds us together. Like, yeah, no one got it, and now it's kind of cool to share that love with other people.
Everybody out there knows about all the big properties that are out there right now. But coming up through comic books and things like that, favorite comic book character that hasn't made it yet. Who are you waiting for?
There
Who
was
are
a
they?
character came out kind of in the same vein as Iron Fist. There was a character called Shang-Chi, the Master of Kung Fu.
Ooh.
Came out with the Kung Fu craze in the 70s.
Yeah.
With the Bruce Lee, and they came up with this character who at first just kind of went around and they always joked like, "Hey, you walk around the city in pajamas." But he was looking for he was fighting against his evil father, the evil Fu Manchu. And at first he was just kind of kicking butt all over the place. Then they kind of turned him into like a James Bond spy kind of character, and that's when everything
It's got a little
flipped.
backstory,
It got
everything, yeah.
awesome. And from what I read, they're working on it now.
Really?
But for ever since the 70s, been waiting for them to do something live action with.
And
this
we've
character.
seen so many of the tertiary characters come
Yep.
forward now. The
Yeah.
Netflix series, that ran there 3 or 4 years, they all ran the side characters really, really well.
Yeah, and not only that, some of the main characters I never thought would be mainstream. Doctor Strange. What a weird character.
We got our own
Weird.
miniature Doctor Strange over here
Yeah.
today because he's become a phenomenon.
Yeah.
Thank you, Benjamin Cumberbatch, by the way.
Yeah,
Because
Benedict, you're the man.
Yeah, you brought a character that we all thought was cool in the comic pages, but always kind of wondered, how does that translate
Yeah, to real life.
to the real
Yeah.
life in the screen?
Yeah.
And they brought it.
Yep.
So
yeah,
they really,
did
really
it, though.
did.
But yeah, Shang-Chi,
So
Master of Kung Fu, man.
She's going to bug us with questions that we don't know the answers to, so let's go. Okay. Okay. She wants to know current TV stuff, current stuff that's out there.
Yeah.
Okay. Your take now that Doom Patrol has hit.
Oh,
Doom
man,
Patrol and, of course, Titans.
Yeah.
That just
Again, characters that I never thought would ever see the light of day in any live-action format. Animated, sure. Animated, they can do whatever they want. But just in reading our favorite characters on the page where, they can draw whatever they want.
And you're kind of like, how are you going to
It's
do
great,
that on
but how
screen?
are you- Yeah, exactly. But ultimately that's the goal, I think, is to see our characters leap off the pages and come to life in a real life format.
And we know they can because of fan conventions like this.
Yep.
We see cosplayers doing it every day.
Yeah.
I got anime characters running around out here, some of which I've never heard of.
Yeah.
That are like brand new, a whole new generation of stuff coming out there.
Yeah, and some of these cosplayers, they look better than the screen-worn costumes in some of my
They
favorite
do. Some of them are
TV
just
and
amazing.
movies, so.
There's a kid over here on this back wall
Yeah.
that has I don't even know what it is. But it's gorgeous.
Yeah.
And you look at it, it's all EVA foam.
Yep.
He's
Yeah.
hand carved it with his. It's incredible what they can do.
And some of these TV shows, they have big budgets, but they don't have a lot of time to make these costumes. They
Yeah.
have maybe a month, maybe. These cosplayers are spending years on these costumes, and that's why they look so great.
Now, part of the transition again from subculture into popular culture and now just culture has been something that you personally have been a part of that wave. See, with things like Comic Book Men and things like that. Did you ever think growing up that somebody would call you and say, "Hey, we're going to do a show"? And we're going to hang on. We're going to hang on to Comic Shop.
Yeah.
We're going to talk about all of our favorite stuff, and they're going to pay us, and they're going to put us on TV.
Yeah, no, never.
Somebody said that to you, you'd be like, "What?"
Put guys like me and look like me on TV. I'm usually the guy behind the camera or on a computer, doing CGI or something. That's guys like me.
That's what you thought you would do, but now there it is.
Yeah,
that's
and
pretty
even when
cool.
they pitched the idea of the TV show, I'm like, no one's going to watch a bunch of 4 old guys sitting in a comic book store arguing about pop culture.
We watched.
And, little did I know, in every other dead-end job, there's a group of guys just like us, or a group of ladies, or a mixed group, talking about these same things. And I think that's probably why it worked out so well.
It was really kind of cool.
Yeah.
So, best con moment. What's your best con moment? Now, we're going to do this in 2 parts, though.
Okay.
Because you and I are old school geeks.
Yeah.
So we had con moments before it was cool.
Yeah.
So best con moment as a kid, and then now being on the other side of the table, best moment.
I think best con moment as a kid, I was able to meet dealers and find books that I couldn't find at my local comic book shop.
Rare deals. Those rare deals.
And there was no eBay when I was a kid. There's no other way to get these.
Well, by the way, the internet is new.
Yeah.
For us.
Yeah. So if you were looking for a certain issue and your comic book shop didn't have it, there's no other way to get it except to go to a show where there were 15 other dealers and to find that. Back then, the celebrity thing wasn't really a huge thing. But I remember meeting James O'Barr, creator of The Crow.
Cool.
I grew up in Michigan. He's a Michigan native, so he was at the con I was at, and that kind of blew me away.
He was one of the early pioneers in the darker comics.
Oh, yeah.
Into diving into kind of the...
Yeah, I mean, he went through some pretty bad life experiences, but he channeled that anger and sadness into a comic book.
Yeah.
And it became, a franchise.
Now that you're on the other side of the table, what's been the highlight so far?
I love that our show Comic Man is, it's for ages 3 to 300. So I love the kids. The little kids who watch the show are awesome. I met one family. They're like, hey, my son really loves your show, but we don't let him watch it until he finishes his homework. So I'm like, you're using our show as a carrot on a stick to finish homework?
Nice.
Like, who would have thought?
Think of that. I should have thought of that.
Who would have thought? And then I meet, 80-year-old grandmothers who are like, oh, you boys look so sweet. You guys, I watch your show. I'm like, I think that's really cool. But
it is. Again, when it was subculture, everybody sort of thought the comic book geek, the sci-fi fantasy geek was kind of like this on the side. They had no idea who we were.
Those are the weirdos over there.
Those are the weirdos.
Those are the weirdos.
And then now, here it is. They would have been the adults back then. Yeah. Now they're in their 60s and their 80s, and they're looking over going, oh, what a great bunch of kids. Yeah. What a great bunch of guys.
Yeah. We're still weirdos, but in a good way. We've always been in a good way. It just took a little while to
it always took everybody else a little while to figure out.
For sure.
And thank you to Disney for making sure that Marvel's out there telling everybody how cool we are on a regular basis.
Who would have thought it would have blown up like this? Though?
It is incredible to see.
It really makes me happy.
It is great. Ming, we know you're busy. We wanted to thank you for having your time. We have to say goodbye anyway. We want to thank our partners and our friends, Some Unique Magazine, Famous Faces and Funny, Space Coast Comics, J. Bauer Art, Celestial Healings, Krypton Radio, Radio.com, Pound the Grape, and the folks over at the Foxwood Wine Company. Thank you guys for sharing these videos all over the World Wide Web, for supporting us, helping us support our arts community. We've been hanging with Ming Chen from Comic Book Man. We've been doing it at Comic-Con Revolution in West Palm Beach, Florida, and we're going to be back a little bit later on, so stay tuned in and stay logged on and see who we're hanging with next.
Authors, filmmakers, producers, anybody that has anything to do with creating independent stuff, comic book authors, musicians. Make sure you take advantage of the 2019 Indie Originals Live Talent Competition, going on now at www.indieoriginalslive.com. This is your exclusive opportunity to become an official award-winning independent creator to use that in your marketing. Enter today at www.indieoriginalslive.com.
Who's who, what's hot and what's not. 2019 saw some amazing new creative talents, and now you can peek behind the scenes at the hottest indie creative artists in this year's edition of 25 Hottest Indie Authors, Artist Advocates 2019 magazine. Published by the renowned And I Thought Ladies, this is a one-of-a-kind look into the brightest rising stars in the creative universe. Get yours today at magcloud.com and at andwethought.com.
This is Cosplay Michael with the Hangin on the Web show. I want to tell you about my friends at Embellis Effects in Orlando, Florida. They've got makeup, costumes, and props for all of your costume needs. And the team at Embellis Effects is helpful and friendly. Embellis Effects is one of my favorite places, and I know it will be yours too. I'll see you there. Or go to embelliseffects.com. And remember, cosplay is for everyone.
Famous Faces and Funnies in Melbourne, Florida is leading the way in pop culture fun. From comic books and graphic novels to Funko Pops and collector's items, Famous Faces and Funnies has it all. Rick Shea and the professional team at Famous Faces and Funnies are friendly and knowledgeable. Whether you're looking for toys, props, collector treasures, or a new comic book, Famous Faces and Funnies is your one-stop shop. To find Famous Faces and Funnies on Facebook and Twitter, just type at FFF Comics.
The Right of Wands. One boy, one right. And a world of deadly secrets that could change the course of history forever. It's time for The Right of Wands by Mackenzie Floor. When a horrible fate reveals itself during the Right of Wands ceremony, Mirda must find a way to change his destiny. Forbidden from revealing the future, he is granted a wand and magical powers in order to save himself and those he loves. But Mirda is not the only one with secrets. The Right of Wands by Mackenzie Floor, available on Amazon.com now.
Murder by the Gods from author William G. Collins is available today. Murder by the Gods is a mystery thriller set in the glorious past of ancient Egypt, when the son of the Scorpion King suddenly collapses after receiving a mysterious threat from the god Seth. The prince is convinced it is the gods who are trying to kill his family. Murder by the Gods is filled with adventure and romance in a kingdom that would become known as the Land of the Pharaohs. Murder by the Gods, from author William G. Collins, is available on Amazon.com today.
Channeling the Mothership is an exciting journey into the higher mysteries. Certified psychic medium and clairvoyant Jerry McDaniel's readings, writings, and messages have been received by thousands of people in more than 45 countries. These messages have been obtained by channeling his higher self. How does he do it? Is it a blessing or a curse? And what lay beyond the reach of your five senses? Channeling the Mothership. Explore the mysteries of the spiritual and the metaphysical. Channeling the Mothership by author Jerry McDaniel. Available on Amazon.com today.
Hello, World Wide Web. Welcome back to the Hangin' With Web Show. I'm GW Pomichter. Thank you so much for logging on, tuning in, coming back. We hope you'll hit subscribe. There's a little notification bell. Pop that real quick. Come on back over and over again. We've got artists, authors, filmmakers, musicians, creative minds of all kinds. And we're here at Comic-Con Revolution in West Palm Beach, Florida, and we're hanging with G7 comic creators Milton Howell and Kenneth Gaynor.
Yes.
Kenneth, how are you, man?
Very
Milton,
well,
good to see you. Thank you guys for coming on over and hanging out with us for a little
problem.
while. How's the show going for you?
Very well.
Yeah,
Very well.
It's a good crowd.
Yes.
People loving what you're doing.
We was here last year, so we had a
right.
good time last year while we was here. And so we figured we'll come back for a repeat performance here, and we're loving it. It's great.
Awesome. Well, we're glad you did. We're glad you got a chance to hang out with us here. So tell us a little bit about G7 Comics.
Well, G7 Comics was started with myself, Kenny, Wilson, and also we have a partner called our lawyer. That's how we started it off. We branched off like that.
Okay.
And it started in Miami.
What kind of stories are you guys telling?
Well, we do a lot of folklore.
We do it all. Folklore, animation, we do it all. We do the whole gamut.
That's fantastic. You got some paperwork here. Yeah. What do you got here? Oh, Lord, look at him.
This is one of our new comics that's coming out called The Boogeyman.
The Boogie, no doubt.
Yeah.
Wow, man, that's fantastic.
And these two are our latest two books out, Dark Child 1 and 2.
Okay.
So these are now, you can actually purchase these now at Comixology and also on Indie Planet. So these books are ready to go. We are working on book 3, which I hope I have ready before July.
Is that a series all its own?
Yes, it's a 6-book series, yes.
6-book series, okay.
Uh-huh.
Tell us about Dark Child, man. What's
Dark Child is a Haitian folklore.
Haitian folklore.
Yes, it's about a young girl who unfortunately loses her parents in Haiti. Her mother is a voodoo priestess, and she's a shapeshifter. So what we call a werewolf in their native tongue is called loup-garou.
Loup-garou.
Yeah. So she transforms into a werewolf. Yeah. And so
this is an educational show. I'm learning stuff here. Y'all just watch. I'm learning. Okay, loup-garou.
Right.
She's a werewolf.
Yes.
She can transform.
A werewolf.
Unfortunately, her mother is killed when she's a young. When her daughter's young.
Okay.
And so what happens is she's an orphan, and she winds up storing away on one of our American liners to come to America. And from there, she's in search of her father.
Hijinks then ensue.
Oh, yeah.
Because that's what happens when you put a bunch of writers in a room together. Hijinks ensues. All right. Who's the writer? Who's the artist? You guys break it all up? Or everybody do a little bit?
Everybody, we're mostly artists, and we have some writers. We do have collaborate writers.
Right.
Stuff, but we the main part. We the main part.
Okay.
So Wilson Guillaume is one of our partners. Him and I, along with Milton, we do all the writing. Wilson and I do a lot of the inking and drawing. Milton does a lot of the coloring and the wording and things of that nature.
Okay.
But we have a good team, and then we have other members who help us out with it also, which is John and Glenn. They also help us out with like the marketing and things of that nature.
Fantastic. Yeah. How'd you guys get together with this? How'd you guys come together for this idea?
Long time ago, man.
Long time.
I finished college, then there was just starting the college, I believe.
That was just G1.
And
G1.
It was just G1.
And me and Kenny worked together, actually.
That was G2.
Yeah, there you go.
They got 5 more to go. That's a lot of years.
Yeah, me and Kenny worked together, and that's how it kind of started from there.
That kind of cool.
We worked together after we worked. We always did comic book, collected comics, did drawings, so we always.
You guys were always into the comics.
Always. At a young age, probably. Always.
At a young age, yeah.
I knew Milton already.
How'd y'all become writers?
Well, Wilson and I went to school together in Miami International Fine Arts College.
Okay.
So we graduated from there in animation, 3D animation design.
Yes.
Milton already had graduated from Bethune as a
mass media
designer.
arts. Yes.
Okay.
So we took classes, and then we said, you know what? Let's just open our studio, G7 Design Studio, and we just started.
Good for y'all, and that is awesome.
Yeah, we just started it.
That is awesome. You know, so many people out there, they get, they have a dream.
Right.
They have that dream. I'd love to do this someday. I want to write a book.
Right.
I want to put a comic together. I want to design,
Right.
art, or I want to put a film together.
Correct.
But it becomes, I think people become afraid of the things that they don't know.
True.
It's not the things that you know that scare you.
Right,
It's the things that you don't know.
Yeah.
And you're like, well, I don't know how to, when we put the show together, I don't know how to use the camera. I don't know how to do this.
Right.
When you pile all those things up and you're afraid of what you don't know, all of a sudden you don't do it.
At all. That's true.
Yeah.
And you guys just got together and said, this is what we do know.
Yeah.
And what we don't know, we're going to learn.
We learned it, and we learned it on the way.
We learned it on
And
the
that
way,
is
yes.
awesome. How long ago was that?
Oh, wow.
Oh, man. 1990. It was 1999.
We met up.
1999.
Yeah, we met up then.
The last century.
Yeah.
Yeah, we
Then in
met
2000,
up. Yeah, 2003.
we launched the company.
Yeah, we launched the company. I graduated in 2003, Wilson and I, and then we started the comic business from there.
That is fantastic. And this guy's coming out.
Yes, Boogeyman, we're going to have him out by July.
Who's responsible for that?
Ashley is a family member of his.
That's a family member.
Family member, yes.
I'm not coming over to your house. He's going to answer the door, ain't he?
It's actually one of his cousins.
That's awesome.
My cousin's actually the WWE Boogeyman.
Oh, okay.
Right.
I
gotcha.
gotcha.
But, we're using another character him and I created. And this particular character, the Boogeyman, made a deal with someone he assumed or thought was Lucifer. But it wasn't. It was someone else. But in other words, for him to get his soul back, he has to take 100 more souls. Somewhere along the line, he's going to disagree with it. And when that happened, all hell break loose. I mean literally.
I'm looking. I'm checking out here on the covers here. I'm checking out this little girl on the cover, and I've got to tell you, I'm drawn to that. Y'all remember the first Men in Black with Will Smith?
Course. Yes.
And he just pops the little girl right in the forehead because she was the one that was trouble.
Right.
This is her sister.
Yes.
Because she looks like trouble.
Yeah, Nadia.
Nadia.
Yeah, that's her name.
Nadia. Okay.
Yeah, Nadia.
This is, I imagine, because I see her on all the different. This is
Right.
Nadia's story.
Right.
Yes?
This is Nadia's story, but I put my two characters, the Boogeyman and Nadia, just together on the same cover. But they're two different books.
I am more scared for him than I am for her.
No, yeah, because what she turned into,
she's got a kind of of a badass thing happening in
what
there.
she turned into is real.
Yeah.
The beast is, it's scarier than him. He's a little child's play when
Now, y'all been friends a long time,
Yes.
working together and everything else.
Yes.
What were the challenges y'all faced working together, being such good friends, and bringing more people in to collaborate with you? What were the biggest challenges along the road to that?
I would say working together was simple, quite easy. You're talking about staying up 2, 3, 4, 5 in the morning, going to Denny's to get burgers, and come back to the shop.
Yeah.
But when you have a bigger team, like 6, 7, 8 members, all members may not see everything eye to eye, or may not want to pursue the same dream and have the same passion. And the core members, myself, Milton and Wilson, who's in Canada. Actually, he just came from AnimeCon. So Wilson, who will be down here next week, we three are the core, and we always had, we fed off each other, where the others who didn't really see the vision or see the dream felt, kind of just fell off by the wayside, which is fine by us, which is fine. We understand people may fall in and out, and that's what actually occurred. But we just kept pushing on, And you'll be amazed how many companies or people don't want to give you information, like how to get your books printed or how to go about to get this worked out and modeled and things of that nature. So we just went through it ourselves.
We just went,
Yeah. Now,
and then networking, also networking through this thing, because we was here, there, just
networking.
But the core stays together.
The core stays together.
The core stays together. And that's a hard thing to do.
Very.
You work together, you're friends, you have the same passions and those dreams, and that constant, like you said, you'd be up till 3 in the morning.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh man.
Go grab
many
a burger,
nights.
get
Many
back.
long nights. Easy many long nights. Because we did a lot of projects.
I have
done a
had
lot
some
of
friends
projects.
that were friends of mine at 1 o'clock, and if they kept me up till 3, by 7 a.m. we weren't friends no more. But you know, it is. It's because that's a very difficult thing, and you're working together and all that stuff.
And all three of us are married, so.
Yeah. Yeah.
And their wives haven't killed them
That's another
yet.
challenge.
That's a whole nother. Their wives haven't killed them yet.
Yeah.
Don't film that.
And, they came home and they said, "This is what I want to do next." And they're still married.
Yeah, we're still married. My wife knows, so she loves it though.
It's great, you know, to have that support network though, to have that behind you is so amazing to have. You guys have been making the convention circuit, and sharing your work with fans. What are fans thinking, man? What are they?
Well, we just had
a couple of people that say they was inspired to draw because of our books.
That's awesome.
Yeah, you can't beat it. That's better than anything.
Because you know what, I think as part of the artist community, one of the biggest things that we do is inspire the next generation of artists to come behind us, right? So it's great when somebody comes up and says, "I saw your work, and that's why I'm doing what I'm doing." And that's an amazing feeling. Now, on the convention, this is crazy, man. This convention circuit is crazy.
It is.
Amazing, fun, goofy people.
I love it.
Best moment for each of you. Best convention moment.
Right.
What would that be for each of you in your long history, long career? What's that moment when you were doing a convention going, man, that's why I do this, because that's just amazing?
Well, it wasn't.
Last time we met when Luke Farino, when I met Luke Farino.
That would do it.
That's his
I remember I watched Incredible Hulk, Incredible Hulk,
we grew up on that stuff.
So I used to pose like him, rip a couple of T-shirts like him, so meeting him, was like, that was one of the last years.
If his mom was with him, his mom would walk up and say, "You're the reason I had to buy all them new T-shirts." That's right. How about you, man? What's your big combo?
For me, I had the pleasure of meeting Tom McFarlane at one of the conventions, and I brought one of the books, and he told me just keep drawing. He told me keep drawing. And that moment, that was it. That was a wrap.
When you have somebody in this community that you admire, that comes up to you and says, "Keep doing what you're doing."
Yeah.
It's on now. It is. That's a lifetime commitment right there.
Yes.
That's my shut up card, so that's what I'll do. We have been hanging out with Milton Howell and Kenneth Gaynor from G7 Comics. And as we wrap it up, we want to thank our partners and our friends over at Something Unique Magazine, our good friends at Foxwood Wide Company, CBS Radio's Radio.com, Famous Faces and Funny, Space Coast Comics, Celestial Healings, Krypton Radio, and J. Bauer Art. We want to also thank the Cogler Emporium for, this is some great stuff that was made by a local steampunk designer here. And they're just fantastic. And again, J. Bauer Art for all the art that's on the set walls.
Nice.
Amazing things, guys. These are the folks who share our videos all over the World Wide Web. Please share this video, share these creative artists, and remember, subscribe, log on, tune in, and see who we're hanging with next.
Best-selling and award-winning author of true crime and crime fiction, Yvonne Mason is back with a brand new book, The Pink Canary, a book that delves into the life of a drag queen and a marvelous whodunit. You can find this and all of Yvonne's other works on Amazon.com, or find Yvonne Mason on Facebook and Twitter.
He's gonna kill me.
Buy your copy of Pink Canary now.
In the summer of 1953, private investigator Will Lucky Marks was working as the in-house private eye for Arcane Pacific Pictures. Trapped inside the studio with the killer, Lucky must find the killer before time runs out. Lot 28. Own it today. Available iTunes and Amazon.com.
Hi there, this is Dominic Glynn, poser from Doctor Who during the late 80s. You're listening to the Hanging with Web show.
It's Germany, 1938. Charlotte is a 15-year-old girl living in the Jewish quarter. George lives in the city proper, and enamored by Charlotte's charm and grace when she wanders into his cobbler shop. George decides right then and there that he is going to marry her. Follow along as this unlikely couple struggles to stay one step ahead of the Gestapo and their dramatic escape from Nazi Germany. Good Things Always Happen in Springtime, from author Joanne Fisher, on Amazon.com today.
You know who I might be, but that's not important. What I've come here to tell you today, that is, if you are an independent creator, if you make movies, if you're an author, if you make music, you should enter the Indie Originals Live Talent Competition. Hundreds of categories and lots of prizes will be awarded, but the clock is ticking. Visit www.indieoriginalslive.com right now. www.indieoriginalslive.com.
Now on Amazon.com, iCoin from author Jeremy Mosby. It's an alternate reality, and the leader of the planet iCoin is none other than Benjamin Franklin. When corrupt officials threaten not only iCoin but the Earth as well, an unlikely chosen one, Jeremy, must face dark foes to save the Earth and iCoin alike. Author Jeremy Mosby takes readers on a superhero's adventure through this compelling and imaginative alternate universe. Get iCoin on Amazon.com today.
Hello, World Wide Web. Welcome back to the Hangin' With Web Show. I'm GW Pomichter. Thank you so much for logging on, tuning in, Googling, search. How do you do all the things that they do out there? I don't know what you do, but whatever you did, it brought you here. So stay here, subscribe, come back over and over again. We've got artists, authors, filmmakers, comic creators, you name it. It's here on the Hangin' With Web Show. We have such a good time. We are right now at Comic-Con Revolution in West Palm Beach, Florida, and we're hanging with Web Show alumnus and friend, comic creator Joel Rodriguez. Joel, welcome back, man.
Thanks for having me back,
Yes,
Garrett.
sir. Well, thanks. Now we can actually do the interview portion.
Yeah.
Last time we just sort of sat there and entertained the masses.
Hey, it was fun.
And we had a nice private conversation, Joel and I. It was Joel and me, I don't know, 15,000 of our friends on the main
Only
street
the
in
closest
Bartow.
friends, though.
The closest friends. That's right. The ones that were hungry because they were eating right in front of us, like right there. We had to sit and compose ourselves while they stuffed, tacos and hot dogs.
I heard a lot about the barbecue there that day.
Oh, awesome barbecue. And the potatoes, the what are they, Vader taters as they call them, right across the way from us. Yeah. So now we get to sit down and do the interview portion.
Sounds great.
All right. So the Dusk County Chronicles.
Yes.
Facebook knows what these are because we told them. Bartow knows what these are because we told them. But the rest of the internet is still in the dark. They're
So let's tell them.
clueless. Let's tell them.
tell
The
'em.
Dusk County Chronicles. Tell them about it, man.
Starts with a simple question.
One simple question. It all starts with a question.
Have you ever wondered what it would be like if Toy Story was a slasher?
I didn't, and then I did.
Or
and it's all his fault.
If Peter Pan required a sacrifice to get into Neverland.
See, the Peter Wendy story, I think he required a sacrifice to get out of Neverland. I'm sorry, I took that a little bit different. Wrong Peter Pan. He went dark, I went dirty, whatever. Okay.
Either way.
Either way.
Perspective.
Yeah. Okay.
But the Dusk County Chronicles has 4 self-contained short stories in it.
Okay.
And each one of them takes a tale that we know and love from our childhood.
Okay.
And twists it into a nightmarish version of itself.
Wow.
So the whole point is I take things that everyone loves, they're very nostalgic about, and I ruin it.
So basically what George Lucas did to everyone after when he started digitally editing Star Wars.
Except people like my things.
Oh. See, there is a distinction. He ruined your childhood in such a way that you say, thank you, may I have another?
Exactly.
Yes. Wow. So, we understand that that as you got started on this project, you did a crowdfunding.
Yes, we launched on Kickstarter at 10 a.m. Eastern yesterday.
Yesterday, 10 a.m. Eastern.
Yes.
And how are you doing?
Fully funded within 9 hours.
Fully funded.
Fully, 100% funded. As of right now, we are sitting at, I think, 142% funded. So we're working our way towards stretch goal territory.
Awesome.
And adding in more awesome rewards and different pledges and different things to get the community involved.
That is fantastic. Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you.
That is amazing.
Thank you.
And anybody who's out there that's worked on crowdfunding projects knows that is an accomplishment.
Yeah, I'm beyond ecstatic about it, especially since it's my first comic release.
That's amazing. That really is Everyone wants a sacrifice. We don't want to know what he sacrificed. 100% funded. Less than the course of a day. 146% funded on the second day.
Yes.
And just keep pushing.
Exactly.
Just keep pushing. What was your funding goal?
Funding goal was $2,000.
Not a small amount of money.
I wanted to start out relatively low, and I say relatively because there are Kickstarters that ask for a lot more than that.
Yeah.
So I wanted to start relatively low, especially being a new creator and not having anything else out. I wanted a goal that would tell people that I'm invested in this just as much as you are. So my whole target is to print the full color version of the Dusk County Chronicles. I've already paid for all of the art out of pocket. I'm going to Kickstarter to help fund the printing, but not all of the printing. My goal of $2,000 isn't going to cover all of the printing, with the rest of it coming out of my pocket. That was why
that was a way to show your donors that you were just as invested.
It's not fair for me, being a new creator, to go to people who haven't read my work and say, you don't know if you like me. Give me everything that I need to print this. That didn't sit right with me.
Yeah.
So now,
but you did it anyway.
Yes, you did.
And we thank you for that. You're awesome. That guy right there. He wrote the biggest check. Okay, so I'll tell you what, let's dive into the Dusk County Chronicles a little bit.
Okay.
You have 4 stories in there.
Yes.
Okay, story number 1.
Yes. It is called A Friend in Me.
A Friend in Me.
Yes. And this is Toy Story as a slasher.
And this is Toy Story as a slasher.
So, picture this. Country road, no one's around, but there's a broke down van.
Okay.
In the back of this van, there are 4 toys that are stranded and can't go anywhere. They're toys. How are they going to open a door and get out? They're stranded in the van.
All right.
One of them goes crazy and starts killing all of the others.
Huh.
How would you react? Those are the questions that I answer in that first story.
And then those are the nobody ever thinks to ask those questions. Joel did.
So instead of going to therapy, I wrote a comic.
Yeah. Back of a broke down van in the middle of nowhere, 4 toys, and one of them is out for blood.
Exactly.
It's a bad night. Or a good night.
Really?
Yeah.
I mean, it's a good night for the people reading it. Bad night for the toys.
For the toys. Yeah, I can see that. This is what would have happened to Buzz if Woody had really gotten hangry.
Exactly.
See?
That's why you don't mess with toys.
Wow. That. You know what, though? That is, it's great to take things from, kind of an existing imaginative property, a creative property, and just say, hey, that was really good. That was really fun. What if we did it this way?
Yeah.
And make it a little bit darker and a little edgier and see what happens.
Well, pretty much what I wanted to do with it is the whole theme behind it is things aren't always what they seem. And even down to the art. It has a very cartoony art style.
Okay.
Because it's meant to give us that sense of nostalgia. With the art style and with the writing.
You draw kind of a Bugs Bunny style, and then Bugs turns around and eats us.
Pretty much. That's what happens. I mean, the first page has a bunch of toys, and they aren't the exact characters from Toy Story. Copyright and all that. They're not Toy Story characters.
Disney, we would never dream of messing with you.
No.
Because you would eat us both for breakfast.
I am scared of that mouse.
Yes. That is a powerful mouse. We live in Florida. That mouse sends our kids to college.
Exactly.
He does a lot of good things for us. We don't mess with him.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So there are 4 different toys in the first story. There's Jack, an astronaut. Or Jack is a cowboy. Alice is a doll. Teddy is a teddy bear. And
you saw that coming.
And Astro is an astronaut.
Makes sense.
So there are those 4 toys, and they resemble the characters that you can think of just enough to give you that sense of nostalgia.
So you have that evocative image. Okay.
It reminds you of your childhood.
So do we get to know which one goes just crazy or
Astro?
It figures. It does. Okay, but we don't get to. You got to actually get the story to know the rest. Really?
Not really.
Oh no. He doesn't even believe in spoilers. He's like, look, they funded me already. I'm on.
No, I'm not saying that. I'm saying anyone that's watching can go to DuskCountyChronicles.com.
Yeah.
That'll take them directly to the Kickstarter page.
Yeah.
And A Friend and Me, the full story is available on the
full
page.
Story.
Full story.
So they go there.
Yep.
Just go to the Kickstarter page.
No pledging or anything required.
And you just read a story for free.
Exactly.
Just because you want them to know what you got.
Exactly.
See that? And that's what independent creators are all about, sharing independent creations with you. And then you decide. You decide if you want the rest.
Exactly. And even then, if you're kind of leaning in, but not really, there's a link right after the preview that says, hey, do you want some more?
And wait a minute. Is the link for the medication I need after I read the book there? Will you send me over to the doc to get my Prozac or whatever it is I need?
With that, I might end up doing a Prozac ad in the bag.
Little in the bag somewhere.
Yeah,
just to bring us down.
Exactly.
You got to bring us down a little bit
after
that.
Well, I think I bring you down quite a bit. We need to get you back up.
Oh, get you back up. Yeah. Good point. Valid. All right, guys. We've been hanging with comic creator Joel Rodriguez. It's been a great time. We are here again at Comic-Con Revolution. The revolution is underway.
Yes.
Yes, it is. We've been talking to Joel Rodriguez, the Dusk County Chronicles. We're going to say thank you to our partners and our friends over at Pound the Grape, Radio.com, Krypton Radio, Celestial Healing, Something Unique Magazine, Famous Faces and Funny, Space Coast Comics, and our good friend for providing the art behind us at J. Bauer Art. Thank you guys so much, and thank you for sharing these videos on the World Wide Web. We're going to come back with even more authors, artists, filmmakers, musicians, creative minds of all kinds. So stay tuned in and stay logged on and see who we're hanging with next.
Every year, tens of millions of people flock to Florida for its sunny beaches and world-famous tourist attractions. Most never learn about the strange and unusual locations just off the beaten path. From the UFOs of Gulf Breeze to Robert the Haunted Doll in Key West, learn about the myths, monsters, and legends from the dark side of the Sunshine State with author Mark Muncy and illustrator Carrie Schultz in their books Eerie Florida and Freaky Florida from the History Press. Find them at EerieFlorida.com or wherever books are sold.
Hi, this is Dominic Glynn, composer from Doctor Who. You're listening to Krypton Radio.
Now on Amazon.com. War Calls, Love Cries, a Civil War novel by Mark Berry. Isaac Wells is an innocent farm boy living in upstate New York. His dreams are shattered by a treacherous brother and the onset of a devastating civil war. War Calls and Love Cries is a fast-moving historical narrative. It is an emotional roller coaster ride and a riveting must-read book that you will think about and talk about for a long time to come. War Calls, Love Cries is the kind of book you will cherish for a lifetime. On Amazon.com today.
From some of today's best-selling, award-winning authors comes 22 page-turning tales, Cursed Lands.
Cursed Lands will lead you through one doomed world after another in a haunting dystopian urban fantasy.
Join the courageous as they battle for survival across worlds where fae, vampires, angels, witches, and more roam freely.
Cursed Lands is coming soon on Apple Books, Kobo, and Nook.
Pre-order your copy for just 99 cents today.
From the imagination of author Kevin J. Kessler, the Rosinante dragons are no more. They have fallen into the obscurity of lore. Now warrior Valentine Beret and Seraphina, a magically gifted princess, are on a mission to save the world of Terra. Together they must face the Rosinante legacy and combat the greatest threat their world has ever known. In the end, who is stronger, the man or the dragon? Find out in Kevin J. Kessler's The Rosinante series on Amazon.com today.
How you doing, everybody? This is KG Bethlehem. I'm an author of a new book called Certain Moments of Time. It's a collection of short stories. These short stories range from post-apocalyptic, dystopian, anti-utopia, as well as general fiction. You can find Certain Moments of Time on sale at Amazon.com, where you can purchase the ebook format as well as paperback format. You can also purchase it at Lulu.com, paperback format, and will be on sale soon at BarnesandNoble.com.
Hello, World Wide Web, and welcome back to the Hangin With Web Show. I'm GW Pomichter. Thank you so much for logging on and tuning in. Go ahead, bang on that subscribe button for me. You, the tall guy back here. Just hit. Whoa, hey. I'm going to talk still. And I'm going to put my mic back on. That way you can hear me.
Talking with the hands.
That's right, talking with my hands, that's right. So you can hit subscribe. Stay tuned in here, man. We are at Central Florida Comic-Con all weekend long. We're hanging with freelance writer Marcus Roberts, the creator of The Protector, man.
Woo-hoo, Marcus in
Roberts,
the house.
how you doing, man?
Doing good, doing good.
How's the con going for you?
Actually, the con is going awesome.
First year out here. Not bad, huh?
Not bad at all.
That's right.
In a nice location. Lakeland being located centrally.
Yeah.
Tampa, Orlando. I mean, it's just in a nice
People
spot.
coming from all over. It's really great.
Yeah.
This is the first one of 2019.
Yes.
And it is, what a great way to start the year.
It is.
If the whole year goes the way that today's going so far, it'll be all right. Now, you and I got to sit on a panel earlier.
Yes.
Got to help Nicole Jobin advocate for comics in the classroom.
The comics in the classroom panel.
That's a you know what a fantastic program.
Yeah.
Bring in comics and these properties into classrooms and get kids hooked on reading.
All right. Well, one of the good things about that particular panel that we point out is the biggest thing is getting kids to read.
Yep.
And having something as accessible as comic books available for them to read that they can enjoy just makes that easier for them to do.
You know, if they learn to enjoy it, and they learn to love it, then they'll want more. It is. Reading, literacy is like crack for your brain. Once you get a little bit and you enjoy it, you've got to have more.
Well, I always say the funny thing about the comics in the classroom panel is when I was growing up, the teachers would take my comic books from me, and here we are now in 2019, and they're trying to put them back in there.
There are a handful of nuns out there that still have comics. You can give them back now. I'm older now.
Okay, I'd like my Spider-Man collection back.
I'd like it back now. You can just send it in the mail. You can find us. So let's talk about The Protector a little bit.
Well, The Protector actually was inspired by authors of Milton Davis and Charles Sanders. They have a genre called Sword and Soul. The Sword and Soul genre is about stories that are in the African diaspora.
Okay.
So my comic book, The Protector, is about a warrior for his tribe who shamed the tribe. And in doing so, the tribe expelled him and sent him out. They beat him, stripped him, and sent him to die.
It's a bad day.
Oh, yeah, bad time to shame your tribe.
Yeah.
But his repentance for that act, in that repentance, he wanted to be the tribe's eternal protector. So the tribe's deity, the Earth Mother, heard his plea and granted that wish for him. So he becomes the tribe's protector. The book traces his adventures from around 1200 AD into modern times.
That is fantastic. That is amazing, man. Where did this come from? Where you just lay in the bed one night and all of a sudden you're like, I got a story.
Well, originally I was talking with a group of friends who are fellow creators, and we were talking about things like Hercules and Thor and talking about those mythologies. And we said, you know what? Let's create our own mythologies. Let's create our own myths.
That's awesome.
So this is the mythology I created, The Protector. In the next issue, he'll have further adventures where he has the opportunity to protect his tribe.
That is fantastic. That's an awesome idea. It really is. You know, that's what being a creator is all about. It's about taking those little what-if questions and spinning them into something that is as grandiose as the mythologies that we've all learned to grow up on.
Right.
And any idea that you have, you guys can create like the Cheerio God. It doesn't matter. Just come together with that idea and ask yourself, what if this could happen?
Well, one of the biggest things that I like as far as myths are concerned, I mean, you think about Captain America, for example. In the Captain America mythos, you have not only the super soldier formula with him, but it branches out into the Winter Soldier. Back in 2012, the author Rick Morales, who's deceased now, he did a story called Truth, Red, White, and Black, which introduced the Black Captain America. So a lot can be done with that mythos, but it all started with the original Captain America mythos. Steve Rogers taking the super soldier serum.
And it grows.
And it grows.
When you're creating a myth or a legend, you create a universe. And inside that universe, so many things can happen. New characters, old characters coming back. You're creating an entire tapestry that you can work on.
Exactly.
That's an amazing thing. It's an amazing gift. Now, you're the writer.
I am the writer.
All right, who's the artist, man? Who's doing the covers? Who's doing the art?
My artist's name is Meku Tellis.
Do that one more time.
Meku, M-A-K-U.
Meku
Tellis. T-E-L-L-E-Z.
All right, we're going to write that down, put it down below for you so you can find them.
She is actually a resident of Cocoa Beach, Florida.
Okay.
I live here in Lakeland, so we're Florida natives.
Awesome.
Her background is with anime.
Wow.
And when I was introduced to her, she said, look, I love doing anime, but I want to get into doing comic books. And, I'm looking for someone to give me a chance. So I said, hey, guess what? I'm a new creator. I'm looking to give somebody a chance. We fit here.
That is awesome.
But her illustrations are beautiful. I edited the book myself, and I found myself doing what they refer to in basketball as having the Michael Jordan effect with his teammates, how he played so well, his teammates would stand around and watch him do all the work. Well, her art was so good that instead of me editing the words, I was just standing there flipping the pages like, wow, wow, wow.
And that's a good collaboration. If you can take the writer's mind and go, hey, you need to go write now. You don't just flip pages, you got to write, right?
Exactly.
Got to remind you. Okay, so we got to meet you over at the panel.
Right.
And I know Sage and them met you you're down there near Terrence and the gang from ICC, Independent Creators Connection. What a fantastic group of people. Since we met Terrence and ICC, we've met so many new creators.
Right.
Have you been able to link up like that in your collaborations through ICC a little bit?
Yes, I have. I actually am a member of ICC. I'm one of the administrators of the group.
Awesome.
And I'm also the administrator of the ICC Anthologies group.
Awesome,
which
man.
is the group we've set aside to bring more writers into it. I've had a chance to work with at least 8 different artists within the group.
That is
We're doing
amazing.
group projects. And one thing about the ICC group I have to mention is of all the Facebook groups that I know, we actually produce comic books.
There's a product at the end of it.
There is a product
That's
at the
right.
end of it. We can, you can go on to Indie Planet and do an ICC search, and you'll see books come up that are collaborations between the members.
That's fantastic. It is. It's because so many of the things we do online now seem social.
Right.
And there's nothing wrong with that. We want to make friends. We want to reach out and expand our sphere of influence.
Right.
But ICC is one of those groups that is not just social.
No.
We're
no.
all collaborating, doing the work.
No, it's more than social. We learn from each other. I mean, when I first got into creating comic books, I mean, I didn't know. So I needed to go someplace where people knew, and people who had that knowledge didn't mind sharing that knowledge.
Yeah.
And ICC was the perfect place.
This is a great industry for that, because any other job you pick in the world outside of the creative arts, if you're a jeweler and there's a jeweler next door, that's your competition. Here, we come to conventions, we go places, we see each other on the ICC Facebook page. If you're a creator in the creator center, that's just not your competition, that's your collaboration.
Exactly.
It's going to be, the bigger this crowd gets, the bigger this community gets, the better we get.
Exactly.
Because the more experience and the more dynamic the group becomes. It really is a fantastic thing to see. What's coming up next for you, man?
Next, as far as conventions are concerned,
Conventions, comics, what's projects?
I'm looking to be on the diversity panel along with Rob Anderson at West Palm Beach on March 2nd.
Awesome.
Also, on March 30th, I'll be a featured guest at the first annual AfroCon in Tampa, Florida, at the Robert Sanders Public Library.
That is awesome.
And look for my horror stories coming out in Mississippi Zombie, which should be coming out through Antarctic Press.
Okay.
Their horror series. Mississippi Zombie. Bradley Golden. The whole concept behind the comic is it's a zombie outbreak in the state of Mississippi. And
y'all know what regular zombies look like? Add swamps to that. This is a bad day.
I think it was. I had a lot of fun doing it because
awesome.
one, I had to search zombies, but two, I had to learn about Mississippi. And I learned about all kind of ghost stories in Mississippi. Mississippi is a haunted state. I have to say this.
Mississippi and Louisiana, that whole, it has its own culture.
It does.
It does. Even the zombie mythos is tailored to that area.
It is, particularly.
Yeah.
And along the coast, my story revolves around an uninhabited island off the coast of Mississippi, which to this day remains uninhabited.
Well, now we know why. You put zombies on there.
But in the whole ghost story history of Mississippi, there is an island that's known to appear and disappear.
Just out of nowhere.
Just out of nowhere. The way the story goes, there was a casino built on the island, and the people were there. They were enjoying the casino. They left for the night and came back, and the casino was gone, sunken underwater. Wow. Mississippi is a haunted state. Be careful going through there.
Drive fast. Get out. All right, guys, we have to wrap it up. As we do that, we want to say thank you to our partners and friends. We want to say thank you to Some Unique Magazine out of St. Louis, Missouri, Famous Faces and Funnies in Melbourne, Florida, Space Ghost Comics, J. Bauer Art, Celestial Healings in upstate New York, Krypton Radio out in L.A., Radio.com, and Pound the Grape in Melbourne, Florida. I love that list is getting bigger and bigger. These are the people who share our videos all over the World Wide Web. We hope you will be one of them. Please hit subscribe. Come back over and over again. Log on, tune in, and see who we're hanging with next.
Walks alone down a dusty road, half in the shadow of sunlight, half in the glow. The storm cloud rays and preaches, says I can do the most to make that walking man take off his walking coat. So boom braves that storm, blowing ripples across the pond, blowing leaves detached from bare trees, turning cypress to its knees. In the end, my friend, begin again. A man walks alone down a dusty road, half in the shadow of sunlight, half in the glow. The sun steps back a deep breath, what whistles for head smoke to make a bad walking man take off his walk. So shines down that sun, coming ripples in the pond, growing leaves detached from bare trees, turning so fast to its knees. In the end, my friend, begin again. In the end, my friend, begin again. Whoa, no. So shines down that sun, coming ripples in the pond, growing leaves detached from bare trees, turning so fast to its knees. In the end, my friend, begin again. Oh no, a man walks alone. The sun, he sets that storm down and says, listen here, my friend, to get that walking coat off of that walking man, you take a pinch of sunlight and you hold it in your hand, and you take a dash of true love, toss it in the sand. Now close your eyes and make a wish, blow it from your hand, send that pinch of sunlight crashing to the land, where it lands on love and rings love, with a whistle or white smoke, you'll have a walking man take all his walking coat. So boom braves that storm, coming ripples in the pond, growing leaves detached from bare trees, turning so fast to its knees. In the end, my friend, begin again. down a dusty road. Half in the shadow of sunlight, half in the